Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I wasn't higher than I was supposed to be, but the walls froze through and shattered. I'm partially peaceful, sitting in an empty room, while the lights outside never mattered. But there's a bitter pill on the other side. A smoky shaded space in a double wide. Oh, we could call to the middle and let it all pass through. I'm a pretender, sloppy in the morning sun. All the lies I lived made me wonder. Yeah, I had a bottle, filled it with the only one that could turn my nights into thunder. How I wish it could be another way, and I wouldn't stumble and go away. Yeah, it makes you cry just a little. It doesn't seem any good. I cannot see. I'm shaping a madness, dealers in a mirrored plane, while the world spins faster than ever. They say it's burning, all the things you need to say. You better get them out while you're limber. The morning never cuts like I want it to. And there's a canyon in between me and you. Yeah, it makes me bleed just a little. It'll never be the same. Now why am I so tired when all I do is sleep? Is it the same dream that I keep having? You were there with me, lying in a naked sea, but there was ample shelter and padding. But the wind whispers in a darkened street. It's selling simple warnings to you and me. Yeah, it makes me die just a little every day. Baseline tears on a window pane, and the bellways jammed in the driving rain. I can't tell the dark from the pain, 'cause I'm not there anymore. Say the word and I'll grab my keys. I'll start the car with shaky knees. We used to glow like the stars in the tree, but I'm not there anymore. I'm up all night in the rodeo with beat up cars and the lights down low. The light we lit, the only one we know, and I'm not there anymore. Pick it up, let's get to work. But I can't shake little thoughts of her. I board the plane in a foggy blur, and I'm not there anymore. And I'll come back to start again. You pick me up and let me in. But I woke up in my own skin, and I'm not there anymore.
Beautiful song, sad song. I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, thank you.
Right before that, the middle. Two tracks from the new album, Life is Good on the Open Road. Live versions of those songs as Trampled by Turtles joining me live on the afternoon show here at KEXP. Playing tonight at Woodland Park Zoo. Man, that show is almost sold out, so if you're thinking about going, don't hesitate. Don't wait. Get your tickets now. Dave, do you mind doing a quick run around introducing the band?
Yeah, not at all. Eric Berry, down there to the right of your radio dial, playing the mandolin. Ryan Young playing the fiddle. Dave Carroll on the banjo. This is Eamon McLean playing the cello, and Tim Saxhog on the bass.
It is great having you here, and great having you back as well. In May, you released Life is Good on the Open Road. A couple years prior to that, you had announced an indefinite hiatus.
Yeah.
You know, that always, from a fan's perspective, means, man, there's trouble, or they're breaking up and just aren't saying it yet, or, you know, so much uncertainty. So at that point in time, what were you thinking, and were you thinking of hanging it up?
I think maybe we, excuse me, I don't know if we would have even necessarily had to have said anything. So maybe we weren't quite as graceful as we should have been in that respect. But it was, you know,
it became a point where we just were going to take a little time off. I mean, we've been touring pretty solidly for 13 years then.
Yeah.
And I had another project I wanted to do, and it was becoming pretty impossible to kind of make time for everything. And just in general, on a relationship standpoint, it's nice to have some space once in a while, to keep things kind of fresh. And that's exactly what it ended up doing, I think. It did for me anyway, was, we were off the road for a bit. I did another thing, and a bunch of other people did other stuff. And then I can only speak for myself, but at that time I started to miss what I was doing with Trampled. So it was very exciting to get back in the studio and to get back on stage with the guys. It's been great.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. At a certain point, you'd done 7 albums in like a span of 10 years, touring like crazy. At what point do you just need to step off for a while? Yeah, well, decompress.
You have to. It's the hard part is trying to figure out when to do that before the thing implodes.
Yeah.
And because you want to, as long as things are going well, it's hard to stop. But if you wait too long, then it might be irreparable. So
yeah, and your project Dead Man Winter, really great. And
thank you.
For you, were those songs, as you were thinking about them? Obviously, there was some overlap. You mentioned you had them or were thinking about them at the end before you guys took a little break. How were those different for you? And then when you reconnected, did it feel like you had sort of cleared the palette, so to speak?
That's a good way to put it. I mean, I had the songs, like you mentioned, I had them, and I just knew that I wanted to make this record with a different project, that record. So it wasn't, I don't know if the process of writing them or the process of putting them together wasn't really any different than I would do with this band. It was just whatever determines your creative vision for something. I mean, who knows what that is? But I just knew that that's what I wanted to do with it. But it did have that effect on it. It was like, okay, that I did that thing, and maybe in the future I'll do that thing again. But it was like once I got that done, then it kind of made room for me to think about a new Trampled record.
Yeah. Tim, you had mentioned that this is the most Trampled by Turtles record yet. What did that mean?
Well, when we were making it, we stayed on site. The house was up the hill from the studio, and pretty much every night we'd go down and have some drinks and listen to whatever we had done. And we just kind of found that, this more than any other album, like our personalities were kind of more defined in there. Like when other people, we'd have them listen to it, they'd be like, oh, you can really hear what you guys have developed into. And it just felt like the most natural, like genuine putting forth of our personalities together on an album.
From your perspective, did taking that break sort of help, do you think, and make a difference in that respect?
Yeah, I think so.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the recording process because I know you did the record at Pachyderm. I have some experience there. Listeners may not know much about Pachyderm Studios. Cannon Falls, Minnesota, maybe, I don't know, an hour outside of Minneapolis or so. Why did you choose there and kind of paint a picture of what the scene there is like?
Well, I think that we've, in the past, first of all, we had recorded there before. But I think we kind of found that we like the live-in recording scenario where, the first time we did it was on our Record Stars and Satellites when we rented this kind of cabin house thing up on Lake Superior, and I'll just kind of move the furniture out of the living room and put a studio there and stayed there for the whole time. And at least for me, I found that just being completely immersed in the work for the time that we're there was really helpful for actually, just getting it done, but also just, it seemed to open up a lot of other creative ideas just being in it the whole time.
Yeah.
And not having other parts of your life come in and out, not having to leave at a certain time to go take care of whatever errands that your regular life kind of gets put on hold in that way. So you can just be in the work and in the art, and that, Cannon Falls is in Minnesota where most of us live. Some of us have families now, so it's kind of like getting away but not being too far out of reach.
Yeah.
And it's, above and beyond those other things, it's a beautiful studio. And the setting is, it's 10 acres of forest in a valley with a trout stream, and the house is very comfortable and the studio is gorgeous, and Nick Tvetbeck, the engineer there, is extremely talented. So all of those things together kind of made it the perfect place.
And it sounds like a great place for like Trampled by Turtles to record.
Yeah, it's in the woods. Man.
Yeah.
We fit there.
And the studios are infamous. Steve Albini used to use that space.
Right.
And Nirvana recorded In Utero there. PJ Harvey did one of her albums there, Rid of Me. But yeah, secluded, beautiful, woodsy setting.
Yeah, it's paradise for me. I've worked on there quite a bit lately.
Yeah. And so in addition to being secluded or, somewhat distraction-free, do you feel like the environment kind of seeped into the sound?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can avoid that, really. I don't know if I could point to something in particular.
Yeah.
But I think that that's just a factor in recording. I think if we would have taken the same songs to a different studio, it would have been a different record.
Yeah.
And it's a subtle thing, maybe even on a subconscious level, but even in the writing process, I think it starts there, like in what mood you're in, what room you're sitting in, all those things get into a record. So if you have the room and the space and the ability to kind of curate that along the way, in accordance to your vision of a record, I feel like that's kind of making the entire project one thing.
You've mentioned vision twice. Did you have a vision of the record before going into the session?
Yeah, I did, and we had talked about it, and it's kind of a rare thing for me. Normally, and for us, I think normally we just show up.
Yeah.
And see what happens. But it's not a very elaborate vision, but it was to sit in the room and play things live and record it live to tape and just kind of capture us playing next to each other. And minimal production, very minimal overdubbing, which is a really exciting way to record and kind of the way that we're most used to.
Yeah, and you're such a tight band.
Thank you.
So while we're talking about being in a room together performing live, how about a couple more songs?
Yeah, you bet.
This is Trampled by Turtles live on the afternoon show, playing tonight at the Woodland Park Zoo down in Jacksonville, Oregon. Tomorrow night, then Oregon Zoo on the 29th, Vancouver on the 30th.
All right, this is Kelly's Bar.
I was sinking like a stone in Red Wing, Minnesota. The bar called Kelly's right next to the train. Yeah, it shakes the walls and you have to stop talking. It's never much different and it's never the same. And the guy next to me, he was fighting for nothing. Although there was over and a knife in the back. I was seeing double, so I went out walking. And I didn't know if I would ever get back. I met a girl downtown and she was covered in lightning. She thought my weakness was charming, but I didn't agree. And the cops are out watching everybody that was driving. Anyone to be here could sing it better than me. And the sun was rising on the banks of the river. And I was dying in Tom's backyard. No idea how I ever ended up in Winona. No idea how I ever let it go this far. And there's somebody there that I can't remember. I'm certain this person meant a lot to me. Yeah, maybe I change and maybe everybody changes. And maybe you're not where you thought you would be. Oh, but I dream about it all the nights that I'm sleeping.
more?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, let me get tuned up here, and then we'll do Life is Good on the Open Road.
I'd love for a blistering song like that, how relaxed most of you guys look. Ryan, you're really jamming away there on the fiddle. I mean, that takes a lot of movement.
Thanks.
But
We're kind of tied to these microphones in here, you know, I got to stay close.
Great song.
Thank you. I have a very old and grumpy guitar here. Almost there. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Lion fever hitting moon, restless wind and the calling moon, dying fast like the highest noon. Well, I never learned from nothing. Feather falls the river light, the warm and shaking summer night. I have 2 friends, but one is right, and he's older now than ever. Run so fast, who feels the pain? And I forgot what I had to say. I've never been through a harder day than the one that left a ghost here. Life is good on the open road. We're closer now than we'll ever know. The light inside you comes and goes, but it never really goes out.
Trampled by Turtles live on the afternoon show. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Title track there to the new album, Life is Good on the Open Road. And man, you guys are going to be busy. You've got a summer full of shows.
Yeah, back to it.
Yep.
You know,
Red Rocks,
coming up.
Austin City Limits.
Yeah, it's great to be back in Seattle, that's for sure. And being on tour with our friends Deer Tick, including tonight, has been quite the pleasure.
Cool, very cool. Well, life must be good on the open road.
So far, so good.
Enjoy it. And again, thank you for taking the time to share your music with KEXP listeners today.
Thank you.
It's great. And huge thanks to Jim, Kendall, and Justin on video, Sarah taking photographs, Kevin Suggs engineering, Matt Ogaz on the board, Joseph and Amber volunteering on hospitality, Henry volunteering with the viewing gallery, and thanks to Kelsey, and thanks to all the donors that make sessions like this from Trampled by Turtles possible. Thank you again. It's KEXP Seattle.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?